What if I told you the most dangerous job in crime isn't the one with guns, or sirens, or even prison? It's the one where you're not supposed to exist at all. No identity, no backup, no second chances. And if something goes wrong, no one is coming to save you, because officially, you were never there. Most people think the most dangerous role in crime is the hitman, the guy who pulls the trigger, or maybe the drug trafficker, moving millions across borders. But they're wrong, because those people at least know the rules of the game. They know who their enemies are. They know when they're in danger. But there's one role where the danger is invisible, constant, and psychological. A role where even your own side might betray you.
Partners in crime, we are partners in crime. Time after time, partners in crime, partners in crime. We are partners in crime.
The job, undercover informant, or as they're known in the shadows, ghost assets. At first, it doesn't sound that terrifying. You just help the police, give information, stay low, easy, right? It's what they tell you in the beginning. That you're doing the right thing, that you'll be protected, that your identity will stay secret. But then, reality starts to crack, because the moment you step into this world, you're no longer just helping. You're living a double life, and double lives don't last long, you see. An undercover informant doesn't just serve crime. They become part of it. They sit with criminals, eat with them, laugh with them, sometimes even commit crimes with them, all while secretly feeding information to law enforcement. And that's where the danger begins, because criminals aren't stupid. They watch, they test, they look for patterns, tiny mistakes. One wrong word, a teeny suspicious move, and suddenly, you're not a friend anymore. You're a target. And here's the part no one talks about. Most informants aren't trained professionals. They're not elite agents. They're ordinary people. People who got caught and were given a choice: prison or cooperation. Think about that. You're already in a vulnerable position, scared, desperate, and someone offers you a way out. Help us, and you walk free. But what they don't tell you is, you're not walking out of danger. You're walking into something far worse. Because now, you belong to two worlds, and neither of them trusts you. On one side, the criminals. If they find out, you're dead. No warnings, no mercy, no trial, just gone. But on the other side, law enforcement. They don't see you as a hero. You're an asset, replaceable, disposable. If your cover is blown, they can't always step in. Sometimes, they won't. There are cases where informants begged for protection and were ignored. Cases where warnings were missed, signals overlooked, and by the time anyone reacted, it was already too late. And when it goes wrong, it doesn't just go wrong, it becomes brutal, public to message. Because in the criminal world, being a snitch is the worst crime of all. People have been tortured for hours, days, just to extract the truth. Others were made examples. Their fate spread like a warning. Don't ever betray us. And this is where everything changes. At some point, the informant realizes something terrifying. They're not just pretending anymore. They've crossed a line. Living inside crime changes you, slowly, quietly. You start thinking like them, acting like them, sometimes agreeing with them. And then comes the question, who are you really? There have been informants stayed undercover so long, they forgot which side they were on. Some even switched sides completely, not because they wanted to, but because survival demanded it. Imagine waking up every day, knowing one mistake could end your life, every conversation, a test, every handshake. Risk. Every silence, suspicious. And then, one day, it happens. Someone looks at you differently. A pause, a question that wasn't there before. Where were you last night? Your heart races, your mind scrambles. You answer, but something feels off. They don't believe you. From that moment, everything changes. You're watched, followed, tested, and now it did. Not about doing your job anymore. It's about surviving. This is the turning point, the moment where the illusion breaks, because now you realize the truth. There is no safe exit. You can't just walk away. You know too much. You've seen too much too. The criminals. You're a liability to law enforcement. You're a risk. And both sides might decide you're better off gone. There have been cases where informants tried to quit, disappear, sought a new life, but the past doesn't let go that easily. Faces recognize you. Voices remember you, and in this world, memory is deadly. But here's the darkest part, the part no one wants to admit. Sometimes the system itself fails them. Informants are promised protection, new identities, relocation. But not everyone gets it. Not everyone qualifies. Not everyone survives long enough. Some are left exposed, vulnerable, forgotten, and when they die, it rarely makes headlines. No big investigations. No public outrage, because officially, they weren't supposed to exist. Now the climax, the moment where everything collides. An informant is deep inside a criminal network. Months, maybe years, building trust, getting closer to something big. A major bust, a massive operation, the kind that could bring everything down. Law enforcement is ready, waiting. All they need is one final piece of information, and the informant goes in. One last time. But something feels wrong. The room is quieter than usual. The looks sharper, longer. Then someone locks the door. No one says a word. And in that silence, the truth becomes clear. They know what happens next. It's never fully recorded, never fully told. Because stories like these don't have clean endings. Some informants make it out barely. Broken. Changed forever. Others disappear into silence. No closure, no justice, just a name that fades away, and the system moves on. But the impact, the psychological scars, the paranoia never leave. Even for the survivors, they live with constant fear. New identities, new lives, but it's always looking over their shoulder. Because once you've lived in that world, you never truly escape it. But even after the operation ends, the story doesn't really stop. Because the world of informants doesn't close with arrests, poor headlines, or courtroom verdicts. Somewhere, in another city, another port, another quiet meeting in a dimly lit room, the same process begins again. Another network, another investigation, another person being asked a question that could change their life forever. Help us, and we'll make it worth your while. It's just like that. A new ghost enters the system. Someone who will slowly disappear behind a false identity. A person who will sit across from criminals, pretending to belong, listening carefully, watching everything, waiting for the moment when one small piece of information can bring an entire operation crashing down. So next time you think about crime, about danger, about who has the hardest job, remember this: the most dangerous role isn't the one pulling the trigger. It's the one sitting quietly in the room, pretending to belong, while knowing at any second everything could end, and no one would even know your real name.